my name is Kyla and I live in New York City.
Hello everyone, my name is Tracey Coleman. I am from Columbia, South Carolina, but I live in Brooklyn, New York. And I am the, founder and writer of Brooklyn Travel Addict, which is a travel blog. I write about my personal travels. It's just for fun. I figured if I'm going to, see the world, why not share my stories? So that's what my blog is all about. My first trip abroad was when I was young. I think I was 10 or younger. And we went on a cruise to, I think we went through the Panama Canal, went to Colombia in South America, and some small islands nearby. That's the farthest back I can remember. That was my parents and my sister. It was fun, It was just kind of, I guess my parents wanted to introduce me early, so I wouldn't be afraid to leave the country, because they're not big travelers themselves, but they took me and my sister on that trip, so that was my first time. On my list, it's going to sound crazy. I want to go to Australia because I want to see a koala bear and a kangaroo in my real life. I want to go to Egypt. I want to go to Dubai. Definitely want to go to South Africa. I haven't been to Asia at all yet, so Thailand is on my list. I don't, Japan, Hong Kong, I hear they're a lot like New York, so they're, I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to go in Asia, but definitely going to go. I mean, I could keep going. There's so many places I want to visit. My blog started when I went to Ghana. I know that a lot of people come back from trips and you're like, how was your trip? And they're like, it was great. And then that's it. And I knew I didn't want to come back from my first trip to Africa and say my trip was nice or my trip was fun and then post a few pictures and be done. So I started writing down stories, just what I saw, who I met, not really like I went to this restaurant, I went to this place, just more just stories about the experience. And what was happening was people back home were like, what's going to happen next? Where are you going tomorrow? Oh my gosh, you're back. Where are you going next? So I was just like, what? What are you talking about? So from there, I was like, okay, well, I guess people want to hear about what I'm doing. So that was the first year I went to Carnival. And then I wrote about that. And then it just kind of, from there, became a blog. At the time, I had a lot of time to write, so I just kept going with it. So I've tried traveling solo once last year to Barbados, and it was cool. And I would do it again. I wouldn't spend a lot of money traveling by myself anymore, just because I think for the kind of money you can spend sometimes on travel, it's best shared. But just to get away and just have some time to yourself, I would totally travel. But my preference is with friends, because my group trips with friends have been the most fun trips I've ever taken. Here, I don't have any trips planned. I just got back from Tanzania, so I don't have anything on the horizon just yet. And Carnival's in like a week, I'm not going for the first time. My friends are talking about going to Thailand, and so if that happens later in the year, I'm going to try to get on that trip. So Thailand's definitely coming up. And then I'll probably go back to Ghana in the next year or two. So who knows? Curacao, I'm thinking about going in May. So I kind of jump on trips sometimes and don't necessarily plan, that far ahead. So we'll see. Yeah, so the blog is not my full time, just because I don't know how to make that my full time. And I do so much, and to travel, I have to just have obviously a salary to take care of it. So I'm a creative director on the day job, and then I just travel when I can. I think that you just, well, first of all, just do it. I think that's what keeps a lot of people from traveling, is that they think, oh, I have to save up all this money, or oh, I have to take all this time off, or oh, X, Y, and Z, and then they just never do it because they think of all the obstacles. And I would just say, start small. Don't go off to I'm going to go vacation in India. No, you can go to the Bahamas or go to Toronto or somewhere easier, Hawaii, and get your feet wet. I think once you get your feet wet with travel, even if it's not too far from the U.S., that's when you'll get the thirst for it. So I would say start somewhere small, somewhere within your budget. Take a few days off, see how you like that, and then go for it. But I think that coming from a small town, you you forget a lot of times what is going on everywhere else, and you tend to get settled with watching it, TV, hearing about it. You may have a couple of friends or family outside of it, but you don't get that thirsty experience here for yourself until you actually do it. So I think that if anything, I would just encourage people who don't live in a big city and hear about it all the time, just try it once, and if that's not your thing, then cool. But I think that I'm almost promised anybody who's never done it, if you take that one trip, then you're never going to stop traveling. What I do is I have an account that I have money coming out every week out of my check, and it's not even a whole lot. Like, it's not even $100. It's like $50, or maybe you can afford $30, whatever that amount is. Have that come out every single week, and you won't notice it. So I don't even notice the money's coming out until I'm ready to go on a trip, and I look at my account. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have enough for a plane ticket, or I have enough for 4 nights in a hotel. And I'm not doing it on purpose. So when I travel, I've never had to go take huge amounts of money out of my checking account because there's always money in my travel account. And so that's been super helpful. A friend of mine who travels a lot told me that for Carnival, and that's how I was able to save up for it. So by the end of the year, I had enough money for it. Outside of that, be innovative. Like, I rented my apartment this time. I was gone for, I think, almost 2 full weeks between, Christmas and then traveling. So I rented my apartment out on Airbnb. And, people want to come to New York for the holidays. I'm leaving. Hey, we can work something out. And I made enough money for like half the trip doing that. So just think of ways you can kind of supplement your trip on top of doing that automatic draft. Mostly flights. I do kayak and hip bunk for flights. And then for deals, like something small, Groupon. I went to Barbados on a Groupon getaway, I think it was. Lifebooker has the same thing. A lot of times have escapes, getaways, whatever that site is. Go on there sometimes and do a search before you book something, because sometimes you'll see a deal. I would have never been able to stay at the hotel I stayed at in Barbados if I didn't have that deal. There's no way I would have paid that. But we had a deal, 4 days in Barbados. It was like half price. I was like, I'm on it. So if you're looking for a budget deal, look at those. There's tons of them now too. So I would try that. The biggest thing is that I think traveling it allows you to realize how similar people around the world are. Because I think that the media and, depending on where you're from, we tend to fear people who aren't like us, whatever that means. It means different things for different people. Things people say about, oh, Africa's a desert with a bunch of jungles and monkeys and, the stuff you hear when you're little. But when you go and you realize you talk about the same reality stars, you listen to the same music, it's a lot of the same things. I think a lot of the similarities between people across the world, to me, are more than the differences. I think that's the biggest thing with travel. You learn that we're all the same. And I think that to do that, you have to go see it for yourself, or else you're going to rely on what you see on TV and in magazines and here. And that's just sad that a lot of times you make misconceptions about people around the world because of what you've heard. So if there's anything, I would encourage people to get their kids to travel just so they can see for themselves, what people around the world are like. I'm Tracey Coleman of Brooklyn Travel Addict, and thank you for watching Take a Leap.